much of it was just on the paper. On the ground, it wasn't really, an inoculation that picked up pace. But what the government is expecting is that in the few days it's going to stabilize.
All right, we'll leave it there for the moment, Runjun. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me go across to Dr. Ajay Kumar, who is joining us as well. Dr. Ajay Kumar, clearly, given the number of people who have registered on the Covin app, 3 crore, shows that vaccine hesitancy jo thi shuru mein, that possibly is not being seen given the second surge and given how many people are falling ill around us. I want to ask you this. There are many people, I'm sure you know them and I know many of them, who have gone for their COVID-19 jab. This is, I'm talking about the age group of 45 and above, and immediately after getting their jab, they have got COVID. What explains that?
Okay, see, first thing, there is always a lag period when you give a jab and you develop antibodies or a protection from the virus. And in this particular infection, the vaccine comprises of 2 doses. So then obviously after the first jab, you have to wait for the second jab, and second jab, then you again have to wait for 3 to 4 weeks before you get the desired protective effect.
Okay.
So just because they developed this infection during this time, it means they were exposed at that particular time, whether at work or at home, anywhere. We cannot talk about that. Now, let me go a step ahead. There are people, including almost 25 of my colleagues, who have received 2 doses, and there has been an adequate time after that, and they still develop COVID infection.
Correct.
But the good thing is, this is what I like to point out, that all of them did not require any hospitalization or oxygen support, and they had mild symptoms. So to re-stress, it is not the vaccine which caused the virus infection to them. Rather, vaccine is preventing us from serious infection or a life-threatening illness.
Okay, doctor, then I want to ask you this, because I've heard this now way too many times, and I think it's good that a doctor clarifies on this. Is it true that once you get your vaccine jab, immediately your immunity level falls before they start building up again?
Well, there is no such experience. There is no such lab evidence. There's certainly nothing like that. And this is a misconception in a lot of people's minds. I'm a gastroenterologist and hepatologist, and I have a lot of patients who are on immunosuppressants for the autoimmune diseases. I have a lot of patients who have undergone liver transplant, and we have a lot of patients of IBD who are on immunosuppressants, and all of them also we are strongly advising vaccination.
Okay.
I think the message should go around in the country. Please don't shy away from it.
Please don't shy away from it, and as and when the vaccines do become available, please go and get the jab. But Dr. Ajay Kumar, here's the problem. I want to get the jab, and Runjun wants to get the jab, and everyone I know wants to get the jab. Only there are enough vaccines are not available right now, and we understand that. We are a large country, a country of 1.3 billion people. Obviously, it will take 2 to 3 years to inoculate everyone, and right now the priority group is above 45. Fully respect that. I want to ask you, doctor, and I want to, today there's news that has come in of a young doctor, of doctors actually undergoing immense mental pressure and stress, given what they are seeing, given the number of deaths they are dealing with, given that there is oxygen shortage almost every day in many hospitals. I want to ask how doctors like you are dealing with this. I know you're doing your best, and all of us are depending on you, but how are you dealing with the mental stress of what is going on?
See, this is something which becomes a way of life. This is a difficult question to answer, but then the thing is, as you evolve as a doctor, you have to keep a real distance between your compassion and empathy for the patient, and not to reach at a level of compassion and apathy that it starts hurting you. This is, something which is very easy to say for me, but it takes years to develop that sort of a mental approach, because you are human beings. We also get touched by all these events. And the 2 instances that you are quoting today, one I like to share that actually this is one of my dear colleagues, my 1-year senior in PGI Chandigarh, Dr. Himtani, who's a gastroenterologist. We have lost him today. I mean, yesterday you were mourning your journalist colleagues, and the whole country was mourning him, and we are mourning. It's a sad thing which has happened because whatever the news that we got, he also lost life due to oxygen shortage. I mean, that's a very sad thing. And the second example that probably you're giving is which I just got some social media information only half an hour back that a young doctor committed suicide while he was posted in. You see, the two different things, of course, but then young doctors, when you talked about this young doctor, obviously, I'm not sure what is the background, whether it was a underlying depression or it is a COVID ICU duty. But all of us are going through all this, and we learn to cope with it. And every young doctor, please, has to see that please do not go be so compassionate or empathy that it starts hurting you. Compassion is essential in medicine, but at the same time, we have to develop that personality. It is easier said than done. It has to develop with time and
Doc
experience and guidance of your mentors.
Dr. Kumar, my last question to you, and please be honest if you can. Do you feel let down by the system? Do you feel
You
let
know,
down by the country?
we are see no see. I will not say see we are let down by the systems. Obviously, we are let down by the systems, but that's first thing. Let me clarify it further. First thing, I understand and I agree that this type of a pandemic, I mean, pandemic we had 1 year back, but this type of a speed with which it has come and contagiousness, all of us have been taken by surprise, one. And two, the best of the systems in the world will collapse with this type of a thing. And thirdly, we always knew that our health system is not at par because we work in a we have our country is a huge country with a lot of poverty and still we have not been last 70 years we have not been overcome that. And so we always knew that if there is any catastrophe like that, we'll face these problems. So it should be a warning to all the decision policy makers that future at least we should take care of that. That is one part.
Okay.
The second thing is the current situation. I think this is the high time that I mean, I'm sitting in Delhi, I'm talking about that whosoever is responsible, please wake up and please do your best to take care. We understand the difficulties. Please
Okay.
do wake up and do work, and everybody is ready to cooperate provided you start working.
Dr. Ajay Kumar, thank you very much for joining us on the show and thank you very much for being honest with your opinion and views. I'll leave it there for the moment. There's some breaking news that is now coming in from the Congress camp. This is